The webinar is now in session, hosted by Irix ID and eSmart. Thank you everyone for joining. This is the presentation Iris Recognition in the Age of COVID-19 by Vice President of Iris ID Systems, Mohammed Murad.
Thank you very much, Jacob. Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon in India and good morning in the United States. This is very exciting. This is the first time we are doing a webinar with this audience in India. So we'll go through some of the technology. So our agenda today is what happened with COVID-19 and contactless solutions. Why contactless biometrics is necessary to be used during the COVID pandemic. Iris recognition in general and other biometrics technologies, why iris recognition is superior to others and what could be the use of it. I'll talk about Iris ID products and solutions, and then we'll end with case studies and some new innovations that we have made with using iris recognition in time and attendance. With that, we'll begin. So users, when pandemic started, a user already were thinking about using biometric technologies, and the new word that came about during the COVID pandemic period was the touchless or contactless solutions that our customers and consumers wanted to use by utilizing biometrics. So this has increased the idea of utilization of contactless solutions such as facial recognition and iris recognition, and this also impacted that a lot of people did not have a lot of detailed information about what the contactless technologies can do, where would be the best fit. Then they also got impacted with the fact that people were using face masks, and many of these facial recognition software were not able to detect people accurately with the mask on. Now, there are other reasons that facial recognition and the mask will be considered, and there are some companies have made some efforts in doing so, but we'll go into those details later on when we discuss this report. The other thing was, because of the information was not readily available to our consumers, they were making decisions on selecting a technology and not thinking what will be the return on investment for them for using non-contact biometrics or biometrics in general. So biometrics have been an issue for identity authentication and making sure that the digital identity used. And India knows more than any other country, because you guys have a Aadhaar program, which is solely based on iris recognition, and we have been very fortunate that involved with the Aadhaar program for identity authentication since the beginning or inception of it, 2009, and have provided our back-end matching technologies and our devices to the Aadhaar program all throughout this period. And as the COVID spread, the security became more important, and you just can't go off and start turning biometrics off as you were layering multiple level of security. So that push continues to make sure that security remains in the forefront. And then by having all that, the demand for contactless biometric grew tremendously. The response for that was to be able to use facial recognition or iris recognition for the contactless applications. And then by having all this, is the privacy is another major concern for utilizing the iris recognition or biometric technology in the digital identity age. So the idea behind all that is that you will need to use some sort of a biometrics to make sure that you keep the authentication and the purity of identity for each individual. So the impact for having during the COVID, most of our customers, specifically in the Northern Hemisphere, they decided that we're going to turn off all biometrics. So we have a lot of customers who were using hand readers and fingerprint readers and others, and due to the pandemic, they decided they're going to turn all those off and then move into some other methodologies of identifying their user base. So either it's an RFID and QR code. By having all those, they are basically weakening the infrastructure of their security. Some of them decided, and some of them were already using iris recognition, so they decided they wanted to expand, or facial recognition to expand in those areas, without realizing by using face what will be the return of investment or the administrative cost in the long run. So the industry responded by having, okay, you have high level of security or just essential use of biometrics. So either they lean towards the iris recognition and contactless fingerprint. There are some contactless fingerprints available, but they are fairly expensive compared to what and the performance is not as good. And then you have other low security solution, which could be facial recognition and vein recognition, but then they have issues with performance. Then some of the industry players are starting using, because the demand for security and safety of the users was at the highest level, so they started to implement the temperature sensors on those devices. So and there are some very serious challenges with the temperature sensors, because temperature sensors are not always as accurate as we want them to be. The ambient temperature and other environmental affect the actual use of the temperature. And then a lot of time they're detected and basically managed through some of the algorithms in those devices. And then some alternatively start using QR code on the mobile phone. So QR code is a good application on your mobile phone, because we all carry our mobile phone all the time. And if we are using QR code and entering into a certain areas of facility where biometrics are not used commonly, then they can actually contact trace the individual. And then some start using card-based or mobile phone-based RFID solutions. So that was a little bit of a background what effect COVID had in utilization of biometric technologies, and where some of our consumers and customers started to utilize the biometric technology. Now let's talk about iris recognition. Most of you have heard, because you probably, if you're using Aadhaar, you have used one or the other iris recognition capture devices. So basically, what is iris recognition? It's a technology that takes a picture of your eye, and what we are looking at is the color ring around your pupil. So here I'm depicting in a blue color, but in India, most of you guys are dark, including myself. We have dark eyes, so this could be anywhere from lighter brown all the way down to black. And this ring that contains all these structures that we use to create a template to identify an individual. We'll talk about accuracy in a bit. On the right-hand side of the slide, what you see is a picture from an 8th grade biology class of the eye. Basically, a lot of times you hear in the media retina scanning and iris recognition used as in the same manner, which there are two different technologies, two different ideas of identification solution. Iris recognition, as I mentioned, we're taking a picture of the eye and we are looking at the structure of your iris to create a template. Where retina, for someone to see your retina, you have to go and shine a light in the back of your eye, which it's complicated. And some people like myself who wear glasses, we go to eye doctor and they bring this apparatus really close to our eye to shine a light in the back of the eye to see the vein structure and make sure the pressure in the retina is good. So the reason we put this up is a lot of time people confuse retina and iris as similar technology. They are not same. They are totally different. Actually, as we know right now, there is no such technology used for identification as retina. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, we will talk about the data bits. So if you're looking at overall biometric technologies, you have hand recognition, you have face recognition, you have finger, which we can also count vein finger and palm finger as together, and then you have iris recognition. So those are the majority of the modalities used in the business world for identifying people today. So if you look at the graph here, out of all the modalities of biometrics, iris contains the most amount of data to be able to accurately identify an individual. That's why we are so confident when we are identifying an individual using iris recognition that we, most of the time, unless it is necessary by implementation, we do not require a token like a card or a PIN number, etc. We can do in a very large population, a one-to-many identification individual. In the bottom of the screen, basically you're seeing a human eye that you and I see with our naked eye. In the middle is what we do. When we take a picture of the individual's eye, we are taking a grayscale picture, and that grayscale picture in black and white, the structure of the iris has a lot more detail, and then from there we segment it, and only piece that we are saving or using to generate the template which is going to be saved is its color ring around the pupil. So this dark part is the pupil, and we're only concerning about that. Rest of this stuff is get discarded. And in the middle of the screen, where you see a fully formed iris picture, and on the side you see some part of the iris is closed. So what we are trying to depict here is that when you enroll an individual, make sure you have a highest quality image coming out of it. At the time of identification, even 40% of their eye is closed, we can still very accurately, with high confidence, identify an individual in a one-to-many population. So what are the advantages of iris recognition technology? One, which Indian government has already decided to use, is from the very young age, you can use iris recognition, take a picture of the eye, and that template or that data will not be impacted by age. That means it's not going to change. So the individual can carry that identity of biometric identity all throughout their life. Iris recognition is proven to be the most accurate, has a tremendous amount of data inside the template to be able to accurately identify, and some mathematical formulas say 10 raised to power 72. Very, very easy. We have devices that go from anywhere from 12 inches, which is about 35, 40 centimeters, all the way about to about a meter from a distance, and depending on what the application is, if it's an access control and time and attendance, 35 to 50 centimeters is a very comfortable distance. But if you're looking at border application, etc., you may be looking at a longer distance, like a 1 meter. Very fast, very throughput speed. In less than a second, we can identify, and on an average, it takes an individual about 2 seconds by the time they present their iris or their biometrics, and the door opens. It is all into the less than 2 seconds, and that identification the time is in the millions. So you could have a record of millions and millions of people, and you'll be able to identify them in less than a second. Non-invasive. You're not being touching anything, crowding anything. You are at a very comfortable distance every time you're identifying individual, and it's highly scalable. So you can start a project with a few hundred people, and then you can grow it to be 100,000, 200,000, million, etc. And you never have to worry about that. What do I need to do with thresholds? Do I have to adjust them like other biometrics who would have to do that? And then countermeasures. A very important piece of what we offer as a technology solution today is have these countermeasures embedded into both our hardware and software solutions. Basically, the idea is that you will not be able to present a photo, a prosthetic eye, a colored contact lens, pattern contact lens. We block all those. That means we are protecting from any malicious attacks. So these countermeasures are part of our solution. Okay, so where iris recognition works and other solutions and technologies or biometric solutions do not have the ability to work. So the most important number in today's era, where we're talking about COVID, basically iris recognition, we can capture your eyes behind a face shield, behind goggles, mask, any kind of covering will be able to identify individual. Workers who work with their hands, their fingerprints are compromised. Fingerprints will have tons of challenges. Irises with the same comfort, with the distance, we'll be able to identify them. Sometimes people's fingerprints get compromised because the profession they are in, such as, as you see a picture with a person with greasy hands. In other places where you have either a face mask on or you have a large amount of facial hair. Sometimes, in Middle Eastern countries or even in India, women wear niqab, etc. With all those covering, we're still able to identify an individual. So the idea is that iris recognition can work in most environment where other biometric technologies would have challenge. Okay, so now we started the conversation about non-contact technology. So it's very important for us to go back to that conversation, because all non-contact technologies are not designed the same way. So this was a test done by NIST back in July of this year, and then they followed on with a further test in September. NIST said that they tested about 80 some algorithms available, commercially available today, and depending on how people wear their mask, the rejection rate or false rejection rate was anywhere from 5% to 50%, depending on how they wore their mask. So as you can see in this picture, how people are wearing masks, how much of a nose is exposed, how much of the cheek bones are exposed, etc. And that's very difficult in a normal environment to be able to dictate to the user how they're going to wear masks. That's why we are very confident that when you're looking at iris recognition and you're looking at other contactless technologies, you will gravitate towards iris recognition, because we do not have such issues like what kind of facial mask, what color is it black, it is white, how you're wearing it, etc. Then you have other technologies as well as fingerprint, like I mentioned earlier. There are some contactless fingerprint prints available, but they're very expensive. I mean, some of them are twice as much in price as a face or a finger or a iris recognition, or 3 times a device would be available. Okay, so where is iris recognition fitting today? So we supply our solutions and technologies in identification application, in access control, time and attendance, and implementation with our other RFID applications. So in identification, as I mentioned earlier, we have been part of the Aadhaar program. We can offer a large scale national ID or civil ID programs. We have implementations in correctionals, healthcare, and welfare programs, because in most of those cases you do not have the ability to have a token, etc., available. You're not going to hand that token to the prisoners in a jail or correctional environment. We offer our solution in access control areas where passports or visas. We have several countries today, they're issuing the visas using iris recognition to make sure the person who is being issued a visa to, they are the same people who are showing up at their border. We have a very strong presence, physical access control. We are integrated in almost all access control solutions. In time and attendance, it is becoming very popular because it's non-contact and doesn't require any other tokens. So we are in factories, we are in anywhere you don't require your users to touch, and specifically in today's time, with pandemic, people are gravitating towards that. And as I mentioned, RFID, we do a lot of work in government space where they require to have a credentials hanging around person's neck, and it is a requirement to be able to have a distributed database so they can install the template on the card. So we do offer those implementations as well. So this is a portfolio of our products. So we have access control solutions. They are also integrated with handheld mobile solutions. In our mobile solutions, we offer multimodal biometric applications, so you can use face, iris, and finger. And then we have all sorts of other technologies integrated, such as GPS, GPRS, MRZ reader, magnetic stripe reader, contactless smart card reader, etc. In our physical access control, we provide a device that has all the technologies available and integrated with all major access control providers like Honeywell, Lenel, Siemens, AMAG, all major access control solution providers. Now, the same technology that we use in our access control product line, we have also migrated them for product line like this OU7SAK, which allows you to incorporate that into a kiosk. The same implementations, but can be controlled through a USB or Ethernet interface from any application in the kiosk. Then the same optical system, we made an OEM device that allows you to integrate just the iris component. So on this device, we can offer a gallery of 100,000 people, and it has a USB interface. So if our customers or OEM partners have their own time clock or other type of devices, they can use this as an OEM. Then on the right-hand side, this is our border crossing application. It can automatically adjust the height and can capture from a distance of a meter plus and minus 25 centimeters. It can take a full frontal face picture and iris picture simultaneously, and it's very popular in border crossing applications. Then we have products called ICAM-TD100 and ICAM-T10. They are majority used in national ID applications for mass enrollment, and TD100 has been used in IT100 both in the Aadhaar program. Okay, so we have implementation across the world, including India. So you can see that the product footprint and company partner footprint is all over the world. These are some of our customers. So on the commercial side, we have a very deep bench of customers that they use our technology. Some of the famous ones, case studies we will cover. So we have technology companies and financial sector that use our product for data center security and other security for other applications. We have laboratories, scientific research centers, hospitals, medical centers, etc., using our solutions. Then oil and gas infrastructure, nuclear power plants. We have a huge footprint of nuclear power plants across the globe. And in workforce management, we have Dangote. We will go through their case studies. We have World Trade Center, YS Laboratories, some DHL centers, some Toyota factories in Thailand, Toyota service centers in Saudi Arabia, some other Toyota facilities globally using our solutions. And on the far right-hand side, we have some consumer-facing solutions such as health clubs, the kindergarten school systems and other school systems, etc. So we have a fairly deep customer base for our technologies implemented globally. Then on the government side, so we have a whole transportation sector that uses our technology. So we'll go through some of that. We have airports in Amsterdam. They use both our technology for access control and passenger processing. In Canada, all airports for access control use our solution for identifying employees going from land side to air side. There are many airports in the US as well. We do a lot of work in government, public sector for military bases, water treatment plants, FEMA for distribution of emergency food, etc., medicine. Then in civil ID programs, as I mentioned already, UID uses iris recognition, parts of iris ID technologies. Then we have many other countries using our civil ID program, but we are not here to discuss those as well. Anyway, so let's talk about references and use cases. So we will discuss data center security, some airport access control, building control, health clubs, etc. Okay, so this is an application presented in Japan and CDC in US, where an individual is fully covered. That's a nuclear power plant, is fully covered, and they're using our solution integrated with an access control system. When the person is identified, it will fire the door open. So this is a proof that the technology with other technologies, including facial recognition and contactless technologies, will have very big challenge in identifying individual. With our solution, we've been able to do that with hazmat suits, with goggles, face shields, etc. Then we have Google and Apple, one of our very, very strong advocate of our technology. This is what you see a video. A Google data center is allowing an employee, enrolling the employee, and granting them access to that particular data center. As a policy, Google allows the employee to carry their card, or require the employee to carry their card, and the biometric template is stored on the card. And similarly, same thing with Apple. They have been a long-time customer of Iris ID, and all data centers, Google data centers across the world, are using Iris ID technology in all data centers. So if they're building a new data center, our technology is automatically specified in as one of the elements for security. Or if they're refurbing a data center, they use our solution for both Google and Apple. Then we have interesting. I think this is a very interesting application. It's a fruit farm that has they have fruit farms across the world. And Anadolu İTEB is a Turkish organization. They are the largest fruit and vegetable providers in Europe, and they use our solution across their farm. They have about 10,000 seasonal workers, and each seasonal worker is enrolled. And you can see a little shed here. They go to this shed, identify themselves, and then they go into the farm to pick fruits or olives or whatever. It's a very interesting. It's all integrated with SAP application. So the identification in that transaction goes to the SAP for payroll calculation. Our customer is very happy. They've been using it for many years. As you can see, it's kind of open environment. As long as you can protect the camera from direct sun and rain, it works very well. Okay, this is an application in Africa. As you see, Dangote is the largest conglomerate in Africa, and they have a cement factory. So we are currently being utilized. They have oil refineries where we are in the middle of implementation, but currently we are implemented in about 14 some cement factories across Africa. They're all centrally connected in Lagos, using SAP is their ERP solution. It is used for time and attendance, and they have implementation except South Africa and I think Algeria, but they have implementation of Iris ID technology in those cement factories. And then now they also have implemented another device called R100, where they are enrolling the truck drivers. So the people who come to pick up the load or deliver the load, they are identified before pickup and they're identified at the delivery point. So they know exactly who picked up the load and who delivered the load. So the way it works is the guy gets off the truck gets inspected for making sure there is no malicious stuff on the truck. He goes into the shed, he gets identified, they issue him a slip. He takes that slip, shows it to the guard, he drives the truck into the building or into the facility, goes to the bay, picks up the load, shows his delivery pickup ticket at the gate, and drives off. And then when he gets to the next destination, he shows that ticket. He goes into the shed, make sure it's the same guy who's driving the truck and delivering as he picked up. He gets identified, and data gets sent to SAP to make sure that they have his record of delivering the load. And then they also weigh. There's a whole process. They weigh the load. Now they're testing, because of the COVID. They didn't want these drivers to come they don't want in the future these drivers to come in the shed. So they're testing our mobile handheld device, where they will send the record of that individual to that M300 Irix device, so they can use it when they arrive at those destinations, to keep them off of site, and they just remain in their truck. And that will be, I think they're thinking about implementation in Q1 next year. We will take the questions after we're done. So Irix ID technology has lots of implementation across the world for construction sites and other environments. So as you can see, people can wear a hard hat, they can wear a mask, they can wear all sorts of face covering, and it could be a harsh environment like a construction site. So you see a video, this was done in India, and then you see on the left-hand side a picture of these, we call them in the US meat grinder gates. I don't know what you call them in India, but these gates are implemented with our devices at a construction site. In the middle, you see this is a World Trade Center construction site that we completed in 2014, I believe. They still use it because the construction is still going on, and they identify in that site, they identify up to like 20 to 30,000 employees on a regular basis. So that's the size of the database. So with that, so this is the discussion on what the current technologies is available and implemented. Now let's talk about airports. So we have our solution implemented at airports. What you're seeing a video is a border crossing application. In this same airport at Schiphol in Amsterdam, ICAM 7000 is implemented for all employees. They have 70,000 employees, and they do about 150,000 transactions on a daily basis for identifying those individuals. So it's a ninth largest airport in the world, based in Amsterdam. I'm sure you guys are familiar with this this implementation in not this CERN. I'm sure you're familiar with that. They're based in the atomic testing facility based in France and Switzerland. And Irix ID has been providing our technology for CERN since 2008. We have over 100 some devices installed there. Every, as you can probably see here, every individual wears a hard hat. They may be wearing goggles. They get into these traps, and this is basically they're going into the tunnels where the testing happens. Google CERN, you will learn. They're looking for a particle, how this whole creation, the universe that we are in, happens. A very, very interesting and cool place. And they have 2 rings now, and they're under construction for the 3rd ring, and we are scheduled to provide technologies for the 3rd ring as well. Then you have on a simpler things, we have health club using our technology. As you can see, this woman in Iceland going to the gym, looks into the camera and just walks through the gate. Basically, the idea is they're not touching anything. The health club doesn't provide them any card or token, and it's all integrated with the health club management system. Basically, if they don't pay their dues for that month, their access is taken out. Similarly, this health club, world class in Iceland, has about 53,000 population, And there's a chain of health clubs that this company owns. That whole population 53, and you can go to any health club as long as you're part of the main club system, and they're all records of 53,000 people on the device. Either they have access or they don't have access, and it's 24/7, some of those sites. Then we have a Equinox Health Club that is in US. They have 15 chains across US. A very high-end club, no touch entry to the individuals. Then we have the iris recognition used at the US airports. These kiosks are available for passengers to be able to identify and then move into the security line across. And since the pandemic started, the Clear has been very open about saying we use non-contact technologies. And we have about approximately 700 of these kiosks implemented with our technology within the US. Okay. Now let's talk about the new innovation that basically gave us the idea to have this webinar for you. So we have, as I mentioned earlier, in some of the use cases, there are technologies being used for time and attendance in some of the areas. So we wanted to go and address the mid to small size marketplace with a new form factor and open up the device. So it's an Android-based device. So we can take Android community, they can build an application, the application can be installed in this device. The device can do both iris and face recognition simultaneously. So we offer multiple modalities. You have the ability to enroll on the device itself. As I mentioned earlier, multiple authentication mode. It is customizable by the developers because it's an Android base. It detects the face and iris together and automatically adjusts the height. You don't have to do anything. As you walk up, I'll show you a video, is able to identify the individual. Okay, and then the IT, we call it, the model number is IT 100, and the management system, ITMS performs all the basic housekeeping. So we provide you a piece of software that allows you to do that. So we have a standalone mode where you can use it as a single device, or we have a network mode where you can use multiple devices using our ITMS platform. We provide all basic features we provide. It has the ability to get all the transactions out. You can take those transactions and build your reports as you require. You'll be able to manage devices. You'll be able to upgrade software from ITMS onto each device. You can add a user, you can delete a user, etc. And on top of all that, we offer you the ability to develop, to perform application development function by two methods. One is the REST API, so any web-based application will be able to communicate with the device from that application through using REST APIs, adding a user, deleting a user, managing the device, taking the transactions out of the device, etc. And the other we provide is through the SDK, and we'll go into those details in a little bit. Okay, this basically is the ITMS. We provide you a dashboard that allows you to manage the device, and you can monitor all the transactions, you can monitor the users, you can add users, etc. And on the top, what you see is an architecture. So basically what we offer you is an ITMS application, so you can drive and manage the device. But on top of all that, we offer you is this product called IT 100 services that's running on the device as a web service. And then we offer you an IT 100 SDK. If you buy a development unit, it will come with that SDK, so you can build a custom application, Android-based application to communicate with the device, and that application also can open up and communicate with the payroll or HR system. The focus of this device is more than access control, is time and attendance. We believe that time and attendance up to this point, people were getting devices. Those devices have very little flexibility in configuring for what the business required, and we are changing that with offering with the IT 100. Okay, So ITMS as a menu you see on the side. This application offers as a dashboard, gives you all the details about what's going on in the system. You can manage devices, you can manage transactions, you can manage users, add a user, modify the user. You can export users from each device, and then you can import users to the device. We have some policy management. Vegan is information. It's also coming very soon, and then settings that allows you to admin and security setup of the device. We have eSmart here. If anybody's interested in seeing a live demo, they will be able to arrange somebody to come. They have the devices available in their facility. Then, of course, it offers all the connectivity. It has Ethernet, it has WeGAN, it has relay, it has GPIO connection. We provide external power. We are coming out with a temperature sensing module with the device, so you can buy a device with the integrated temperature control sensor. We are also coming out with a attachment module that will be able to support MyFair Desfire card, will be able to support Prox card. It will have built-in Wi-Fi and PoE. And then additionally, we are also certifying 1 or 2 Wi-Fi dongles. So if you require that you need to have your device not connected through Ethernet on hardwire, you'll be able to put that dongle. That should be, you should be seeing those additions to the device probably for shipping in Q1. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, from a network is vegan, GPIO, USB, etc., and power. Development tools. So as indicated earlier, the REST API is a host-based application interface. So if you have a web-based or any other kind of application that needs to communicate individually to the device, you'll be able to use that using the REST APIs, and we published the documentation for that. And the other piece is if you buy a development unit, you can get the Android SDK. The process for the Android SDK is you can develop your application, you can test your application, but for you to install the application on other devices, which are non-development devices, you will need to have the application signed by RSID. It's a very simple process. We give you a web address. If you're a developer, you upload your application, we sign the application, and then you just install it using the REST APIs to push the application as an install module onto the device. Here's a little video, be able to see how the device in action. You can see the individual is wearing a mask, and height doesn't matter, wearing glasses, very well covered face and iris. So in some of these cases, it will be very difficult for face recognition and other contactless technologies to work with all these elements. So here's our contact details. eSmart contacts are here. Our contact information is available here. Please, if you have any questions, we are open for questions now. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. If you required a demo for the last product you have seen shown there, so
Yes.
what will be the procedure?
If you would like to see a demo, we can arrange the demo for you through our partner in eSmart. Where are you located?
Say in Pune, Maharashtra, India.
Okay. We'll be happy to arrange that. Do you have our email address? So please send us the requirements. We'll be happy to arrange that for you.
Okay. What is the product number for last you have shown that
It's called IT100.
IT100?
Right, and there is a brochure handout available. You can download that from the meeting.
Right. Okay. Fine. Sure. So I supposed to send a mail on sales@irsid.com, correct?
You can do that, yes, sir. May I know who
Okay.
I'm
Fine.
speaking with?
This is Kiran.
Kiran, okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Hello.
Yes.
What's the background software for this attendance
Could you repeat the question, please?
attendance software? Do you have any attendance software which can
No,
capture the?
we do not offer attendance software. What we offer is a interface into time and attendance application. So we offer a system that will be able to generate transaction like any biometric solution, and that transaction can be used to generate our time and attendance reports.
Oh, this can be integrated with any third-party softwares.
Absolutely, it can be integrated with any third-party software. Correct.
Do you provide any API for this?
Absolutely, we provide REST APIs for this, and we provide also an Android SDK. Correct.
Okay, so what's the backend database you use for this?
Well,
SQL or
the database, you can choose whatever database you like. We have an embedded database that is basically to manage the device and manage limited information, which we provide access to through REST APIs. But database is open. You can use a Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, or whatever else you like.
so? Do you have any software which I can install on a server where I can put all the details like in and out?
Yes, we do. We provide a product called ITMS that manages the. I can show you. So we offer this product called ITMS. This basically, if you have number of users enrolled, number of devices connected, how many transactions you have, and basically how many users. I'm the only one here in my office enrolled. Give you face picture, iris picture, other things. What menu was created. We offer monitoring, so you have audit trail features, so you'll be able to. Transactions. So if I have a device here now, I'm going to go and identify myself. You will see a transaction pop up on the server. As you can see right here, 5:55 a.m. New York time, transaction popped up. And then
Okay.
if you go into detail, we also capture a audit face, and I'll show you the device works with the face mask as well. I'll wear a mask. And then you can see the fourth transaction popped up. And in this audit face picture, this face picture is not for identification. That is just an audit to make sure, because a lot of time and attendance, our customer requires that they need to have some sort of an indicator the guy was in front of the camera. And it
So
gives you a
do
lot
I?
more details.
Yeah, should I put the machine in or out mode when you come in you have to put it in mode, or when you go
That
out you have to put it?
Yeah, very good question. Product has another skin on it. It's called, you can use, how do I say it? You can set it up so this way you can do clock in, clock out. So the same device can be used as clock in or clock out. The person will use it, will pick the option. So I can go back just a second. You won't be able to see it, but I'll give you an indication. Basically, I'm going to put the device into a interactive mode. That means it's going to wait for my instructions. So the application is going to be interactive. And so now when I clock in and identify myself, that transaction will show up. And as you can see, it says clock in. Do you see that on my transaction screen?
Yeah.
It picked as clock in. And then now if I go back and I want to identify as a clock out, and it sees as clock out. So we
So
offer quite a bit of flexibility. So you can configure the device as you can use one device for both features, or if you must require, you can have one device for in and one device for out. Or
so
if you want to, you can also use the transactional data as the first transaction coming in. You can build a report as such. The first transaction that comes in is considered your in, and the last transaction that person did will be considered as you out.
Okay, that's what we are using right now. So otherwise, you need to touch the machine every time.
If you, yeah,
It is
if
here.
you are using interactive mode and you're not doing computation on those transactions, then you have to touch. But in most of our customer cases, they don't want to touch, so they just use two devices, one in, one out, or they're using transactional data to determine what was the first in and what's the last out.
So the first in is counted as in, and last in is counted as out.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So this works only on iris mode. Whether you wear a glass, also not a problem.
No, you can wear a glass, you can wear a goggle, you can wear a face mask, it will work. We offer both iris and face. So I can put the device in, the way I have it is the device is set up for capturing both modes, okay? But I can
Okay.
also set it up face only, iris only, face or iris. I have the flexibility to pick which modality of biometrics I want to use.
Okay. So this is an IR camera. Even in low light, it will work.
Absolutely. It could be a completely dark room, it will work. It will not work with face recognition because it's completely dark, but with iris, it will work. Correct.
It's an IR camera, basically.
Yeah, iris cameras are always IR cameras. Correct.
Okay, thank you.
May I know your name, sir?
I'm Kishore.
Okay.
So if I want a demo in Bangalore, is it possible to get it?
Absolutely. Just send us an email. We'll be arranging one of our partners to contact you.
Okay, we use a different software called Great HR for payroll processing and attendance.
Yeah.
These two can be integrated with each other?
Absolutely. So basically, you can take the transactions out of here and put it into any payroll software. We allow you to export, so I can take these transactions out of here. Just give me a second. I
We are
can
not
take
doing
it.
manually, it's automatic.
Yeah. So using the REST APIs, you will be able to pick those transactions out, or you can export them. What I was going to show you, you can export them into CSV, Excel, or JSON script format, or using the REST APIs, you will be able to push those transactions into your ERP system or payroll system. Not an issue.
Is that
Of
API
course,
customizable? Can we customize the API as per our requirement?
can you mean you can customize the
API.
application?
Yeah,
Well,
API.
API is not customizable because API is an API. You can use the API to customize the application to fit your
Our
needs.
software. Okay.
Yeah, right. So basically, you can put in our REST APIs into your application. So
So
in your custom,
we need to build our software according to your API.
no, you need to use our API according to your application. So REST API is basically a protocol. So you just put that into your application. The way you are calling another product, you will be able to call our product. So the customization you don't have to do to how your application works is you say, I'm looking for these transactions from this device. You embed that API into your application and it will work the way your application works today.
Okay, this software, how many devices? This software comes free along with the device?
Yes, at this moment, the ITMS software is at no charge, correct?
Do you have any restrictions like number of devices or number of
No,
employees can?
no, because they are all internet devices. You know, you're familiar with IoT. As long as you have IP addresses available, as long as you know how you're going through the firewall, you can connect any which way you want.
So you can generate a lot of reports in the software itself.
Well, I mean, see, we are never going to be talking ourselves as a time and attendance application. We're talking ourselves as a biometric identity authentication technology and solution. So our goal and purpose is to be able to give you an identity authentication that this person was identified on this day at this time, and what you do with that data is up to you.
I'm asking for the report section. Is there any reports we can generate with this?
You can generate a report. As I mentioned, you can export this data on a regular basis and generate customized application. Or if these transactions are delivered to your HR system or your payroll system, you can generate reports out of there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, you guys have our contact details. Please contact us so we can connect you with the appropriate partner. You have our email address, and the people who sponsored the seminar, their email address. So please let us know. We'll be happy to answer any questions by email or arrange a telephone conversation with our team.
Sure, thank you.
If there are no further questions, we would like to conclude this call.
There are a few questions that were posed in the
Okay,
question
go
box.
ahead, Jacob. Please go ahead.
Just regarding the safety aspect, it's understood that a simple photo is being taken, but they would like to know, is the iris being read after registering? Is it again a light photo-based capture again? Also, is it declared safe by health authorities in respective countries?
Yes, so there is a standard for health and safety for cameras. It's an international standard, is not particular to one country, and all our products carry a certificate by an independent laboratory test for safety.
Great, thank you. And then one more question from Deepa. Can the data captured through Iris ID be integrated with our existing attendance softwares such as ESSL and other cloud-based payroll softwares?
Absolutely. So give you an example, we are currently working with a major payroll company called Paychex in the United States, and they use the REST API feature to be able to pull all the transactions out and put it into their cloud. So as I mentioned earlier, I think another gentleman had a question about that. You can connect this into an infrastructure, and as long as the device has the ability to communicate with the cloud-based application through the firewall, and you open the ports on your firewall for that communication, data can be transported to any application in the cloud or facility premise-based applications.
All right, great. Thank you, Mohammed. And
all right, thank you very much.
That concludes the webinar today, and we'll be making this available on YouTube and in a PowerPoint.
Great, thank you very much.